You're listening to the Major Pod Network, the only place where your favorite toy store, card shop, arcade, theme park, and arena are all on the same block. Scratch that major itch.
Welcome everyone to episode 43 of MC True Long Island Story. I am your host, always ready, the internet champion. But guys, the internet championship is in my bag because I just got home today and I haven't unpacked it. Matt Cardona.
Also here, producer of the show, Smart Mark Sterling Esquire. How was your weekend? Where were you this weekend? I can't even keep track anymore.
I was in Atlanta, Atlanta.
Hey, me too, last week.
Oh, well, I was debuting for NWA.
Which you
just
told
laying
me.
out the world champ.
Right.
Holding up that 10 pounds of gold. And I'm not here to cause any trouble. I'm here to save
Right.
the NWA. I mean,
Right.
I know you're like a Ric Flair fan, and I'm a Ric Flair fan too, but when I was watching the NWA, when I turned it on when I was 6 years old, I thought it sucked.
Oh.
I thought it was boring and dated and old, and now as a 36-year-old man, I still think it sucks.
You want to make it more exciting.
Of course.
Add some pizzazz.
Yeah, and Trevor Murdoch, that picture I posted with me standing over him holding the 10 pounds of gold, most buzz he's ever got on the internet. I'm trying to get him followers. That's all I'm trying to do. Just trying to help. You know, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not here to ruffle any feathers.
You told me you were doing this, and then I completely forgot. So then when I saw the picture, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now you're back. A couple of days there.
I saw Jade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How was that interaction? Did you say, hey, we have the same lawyer?
No, she gave it to me. I saw her, and then she gave it to me. I said, tell Smart Mark I said hello.
Because you never see me. Great interaction. Matt Cardona meets Jade Cargill. All right. Well, actually, this weekend, yesterday, I did have to take care of a little business for you.
What's that?
Rick Shane was
Oh God, I forgot about this guy.
yeah, he was he was talking some shiz. So me and your other friend VSK had to deliver him that message that you sent.
Yeah.
Which was F you and a super kick to the face.
FURSP. I like that.
Yes, FURSP.
Yeah.
So that was beyond Fed Forever. Check that out, guys. Great show. And we got to deliver Matt's important message. All right. Now, you have any follow-up from last week?
I do not. Honestly.
Oh, well, let's start off. Thank you, everyone, for the 100K subscribers.
Wow, baby. We finally did it. I am, Becky Lynch was Becky Two Belts. I am Broski Two Plaques.
Yeah.
Because I have the original YouTube channel plaque. And then, Mark, you got to order these like tomorrow.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to order them. I thought they just sent them.
No, you got to you definitely got to request it. And we want additional ones that we got to pay for.
Okay. For sure. I'll figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks to everybody who are just MC True Long Island Story fans who might be just watching this and subscribed. And then also thanks to everybody who have just been subscribing and watching all of our videos. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you're a Major Pod Network fan, this is episode 43 of this show. We started this when we launched the network. Was it back in February?
Mm-hmm.
So we've done 43 episodes, and Brian Myers has done 6 episodes of Extreme Conversations. They finally are up. Check those out. And there's a bonus on Patreon, correct?
Yep. So there's 7 full episodes of Extreme Conversations with the Brian Myers. It was a, to be honest, big shout out to Tim Sterling, the editor of this show. Also, basically completely edited this ECW show himself. Went through all of the interviews, got them all together, put them all in the right order, cleaned them up, but added the transition. So Tim Sterling, the editor of the Extra Pods. So
I haven't listened to all of them yet. I listened to the Dreamer one, the music one, maybe one of the pay-per-view ones. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think they're really, really cool. If you're an ECW fan, you'll really dig it. The music one was the most fascinating one to me because, who really talks about music?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You hear a lot of these stories you've heard before. Some of them you haven't. My only complaint with the podcast is that, Brian almost introduces what he's about to talk about every single time. I know he has to do that when he's interviewing Jazz, so she knows.
Yes.
I think that part could have got cut when you're
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Other than that, I was absolutely blown away because when you guys did the pilot months ago, I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
Right.
And then you guys, and I liked how you dropped it like Netflix style, binge-worthy style.
Yeah, I think people like that. You can binge the entire thing.
Yeah, and it leaves you wanting more. I think in wrestling, that's always the best recipe when you want, you want people wanting more, craving more.
I think
definitely
that,
want more.
Yeah, and I think that me and Brian have already considered this already at this point, and we still need to get the word out, but we've already considered it a success. So,
but my question is, when are you doing the episode on Zack Ryder?
Actually, Max Caster, friend of the show, wants to do Extreme Conversations with Max Caster, and he wants to do the new ECW.
I love it.
I said, what are your topics? And he said, the Pope, Zack Ryder. So
I love it.
Maybe he'll be launching that on the Major Pod Network. So check that out. Extreme Conversations is not on YouTube, but it is wherever you find your podcasts. All right. Harry Flynn. He says, this was the debut of Brogain in this episode. I had questioned that, so
okay.
He's for sure telling us that. Calzo says, Matt's wrong about the Ribera jackets. I've been in and bought one from the restaurant when I was on tour for music, not wrestling, over there in 2014. That they could have changed their rules since then, but last time I was there.
He must have begged or offered a lot of money because there's no store.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe somebody was like, oh, they're famous.
Yeah, and I actually, now that you bring that up, I did check mine out because mine are hanging in my closet. It's like the first one I ever got was on that tour, and it's like big and bulky, and it feels like it's out of like the 80s and 90s.
Right.
Then I got that Road Warrior gym one. You know what? Maybe we could throw those pictures up right now.
Sure.
And then the one I got in the last tour seems like it was made like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like a slim fit, nice material.
Nice. Do you know wear it?
No.
Why?
No.
I think I would wear the shit out of it.
No, I wouldn't wear it.
With some Zubas. Jimmy Bazo. At the time of posting, Kelly has around 700,000 followers. So, Broski, you have destroyed her. You're at 2 million?
Oh. Sorry, Kel. Kel.
You passed her there in 2011. Never looked back.
Oh, man. Sorry. He's another ECW original.
Right. True. Maybe Max Caster will do an episode.
GCW should have Kelly for the Hammerstein Ballroom.
True. And then there could be an episode on the Extreme Expose. I
like that.
I think.
See?
Podcast episode.
Yeah. Get Layla, Brooke.
Yeah. Last thing I just wanted to mention right off the bat, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who supported me during the T-shirt sale. I dropped it on this podcast. I said, I think I'm getting an AEW shirt coming up. It did, in fact, drop. It was a very good seller. I think a lot of people were surprised. I owe it all to the Major Marks, possibly the MC True Long and Story fans. Whoever bought that shirt, if you're listening, I really appreciate it. Whatever. It goes a long way. Matt knows that. Sure.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of shirts, I have a lot of cool stuff up there. I'm not going to plug every single one, but I do have the MCWA, the Matt Cardona Wrestling Alliance shirts. There's 2 shirts up there. And also this Friday, tomorrow, if you're a Patreon member, Major Bendies go on sale. Not the whole stock because there was a shipping issue. So we only have about 200 of them to sell. And that's me, Mark, Brian, and Swoggle. Our own toy line. I have it right here, actually.
Wait a minute. I didn't even know this, dude.
Drops Friday.
I did not even know that.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I think you were like on a different planet.
No.
Last week.
You have to understand. You talk about this stuff in that separate chat with Kinnick. It's the Bendies chat, and I am not privy to this, so I had no idea.
Mark, I don't know. Mark decided I'm going to take this week off and didn't do anything for the pod. And then yesterday,
oh, get out of here! I did so.
But then yesterday, did it all in a day. And it was needs answers right now. I'm like, Mark, I sent this all to you last Sunday, last Monday, last Tuesday, last Wednesday. But then, it's my work day. It looks like you went through Chiapetta's stash of Adderall and just I'm going to do all my bitch work today.
Hey, got it all done.
Yeah.
All right. So Major Bendies, what's the deal? You can get all 4 of them in one pack. You have to buy the whole set.
That's the only way to do it.
200 of them available. Okay, baby.
Don't quote me on the 200-ish.
Okay, all right.
There
cool.
are 1,000-ish made.
All right.
But there were issues with the shipping. If you know anything about the toy industry, the shipping situation is a disaster. So we actually have all of the marks because you were the first one we produced, just kind of like a test. Like, all right, well, if these suck, it wouldn't be fair if like a Brian or Matt were made. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because then we wouldn't make the other one.
Right.
So we'll make a mark.
Okay.
Turned out they were good. So yours came by boat, but we had ordered them months ago.
Mm.
The plan was to get me, Brian, and Swoggle by air. The air prices are already more than boat, but, of course, but they tripled, like right before. Like, tripled? So it would have like made us have to jack up our prices. So we're going to we only got 200-ish sent by air, and we're going to take a little like cut into the profit, but we wanted these in people's hands before Christmas time.
Mm.
But the caveat is you got to be a Patreon member and not like a $1.99 tier guy, basic and up.
Okay.
$1.99 and up to be eligible to buy these on Friday at noon.
Cool. All right. Sounds great. Now, you got anything else before we jump into this?
Not off the top of my head, no.
All right. Well, let's do the Broski of the Week. But before we do that, a little word from our sponsors.
The Major Pod Network has a new tag team partner, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Everybody needs some liquid courage to make their own weekly purchases. Scratch that figure itch and scratch that PBR itch.
Get your PBR beer, get your PBR hard coffee, and get your PBR stronger seltzer.
8%? If you're listening to this, you're already a major mark. Now it's time to become a major PBR mark.
Use the hashtag MajorPBR and post your pictures and videos of you major marking out.
Pabst Blue Ribbon and the Major Pod Network, the new tag team champions of the world.
Of the world!
But we're definitely not getting any new figures from Mattel.
The Broski of the Week.
All right, the Broski of the Week. If you are the Broski of the Week and all you got to do is leave a review wherever you listen to this podcast, screenshot it, go to my Twitter at the Matt Cardona, go to the top, the pinned tweet, quote tweet that, and in that quote tweet, use the hashtag Broski of the Week and post your review. You'll win this 8x10 available on mattcardonamerch.com. You will win this, I want to say, limited edition, because it is now, Broski of the Week headband, sold out at the gimmick table. Sold out on mattcardona.com. So there's only, what is this, episode 43?
Mm-hmm.
There's only 7 of these left.
Oh, baby.
And you'll get the Broski of the Week headband exclusive to Broski of the Week. Probably after this is all said and done, I'll probably sell them because I have a bunch extra. But here we go. Let's read that Broski of the Week. Let's get it. Very interesting Broski of the Week, in my opinion. It comes from at iChucky97. I never watched the True Long Island Stories, so being able to watch along with Broski and Mark is great. You get a behind-the-scenes look at each episode along with Broski's thoughts at that time. Mark provides a great layout for the pod, and it's snackable. I was late to the writer revolution, but this podcast, along with the Major WF Pod, have made me feel a part of it. Take a listen. You won't regret it. And maybe you'll be able to be the Broski of the Week. Take care. Spike your hair. Well, Chucky, Isaac Ortiz, just iChucky97. You are the Broski of the Week.
Congrats.
Congrats, dude.
All right. Tweets of the week, December 6th, 2011. Wake up in the morning feeling like Z Diddy. That's your tweet. December 6th.
That's like a catch-up song.
Right. At John Cena, I owe you one. We'll talk about that in a little bit. December 8th, is hashtag all I want for Christmas is woo trending yet? December 4th, Li needs a Cracker Barrel. Now,
I still agree with that.
but like diners are better.
Listen, I explained this to like Ziggler. You're not a New York guy. You lived there for a hot minute.
No, well, look, so in my thing,
There is such thing as a bad diner.
okay, right, true, yes,
Yes.
but New York has so many good ones. They're everywhere, right?
That's
So there's no diners where I'm from, but there is Cracker Barrels.
Right.
I'd rather have an abundance of diners than a Cracker Barrel.
I think, like, I don't know if you know this, but a Chick-fil-A, the Chick-fil-A's on Long Island always a line out the door.
Yes, insane.
Around the building. I think a Cracker Barrel would do the same thing.
On Long Island.
Yeah. Couple Cracker Barrels.
Well, I'm not going to fight it. Last tweet, December 6th. Sick Raw tonight. Thanks to all my broskies for all their support. Couldn't have done it without you. Next US champ. We will talk about that in a little bit. Your matches this week. 12/5/11 on Monday Night Raw at St. Pete Times Forum in Tampa, Florida. Zack Ryder versus John Cena defeats Zack Ryder in 6 minutes and 47 seconds. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Same night, Zack Ryder defeats Mark Henry in 2 minutes and 21 seconds. And then the next night, Zack Ryder defeats Heath Slater in 1 minute and 30 seconds at the Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. So you go from Tampa to Jacksonville. Not too bad. That's for Smackdown. We'll talk about the Cena stuff. Anything you remember about Heath here?
No, I don't. I love Heath. Love working Heath. Always had great chemistry with Heath.
Even in 2011, is this like when you're first kind of meeting him, kind of?
No, I mean, new Heath in 06, 07 Deep South.
Oh, okay, right. All right,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
So, was not particularly buddies with Heath like I am now. I honestly think we became buddies because of the podcast.
Right.
I was always friendly with him.
Mm-hmm.
Had his number, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like before the podcast, wouldn't have invited him to my wedding.
Right. So he's part of our nation,
sure.
really.
Yeah. The major nation.
Yeah. Okay, so those are your matches. Let me tell you what is up on Raw. So we'll set the scene here. Like I said, December 5th, St. Pete Times Forum, Tampa, Florida. It was live, 2.97 rating. Read this right here. Proving that he's not as dull as the straight-edge superstar says he is, John Laurinitis came up with this decision. Miz, Ziggler, and Del Rio would compete against SmackDown superstars tonight, and if they win, they will be entered in the WWE Championship match at TLC in 2 weeks. Cena, on the other hand, would have to undergo a social experiment that the GM had dreamt up. Okay? So, although they're good friends outside the ring, John Cena and Zack Ryder were forced to battle tonight as part of the social experiment concocted by John Laurinitis. If Ryder won this bout, he would earn a future United States title opportunity. If Cena was victorious, he would compete for the WWE title at WWE TLC. With the stakes high, both superstars battled with everything they had, but it was the C Nation leader who grabbed the victory. Still, even with the win, the powerful competitor didn't look happy as he exited. Obviously, you were in there saying like, this is all I had, whatever.
Right.
So then later, after John Cena agreed to forfeit his WWE Championship opportunity at TLC, if Zack Ryder was given a second chance, John Laurinitis scheduled this bout with obvious intentions to see Long Island Icy crushed, but what seemed like an insurmountable obstacle for the woo kid soon turned to triumph as the C Nation leader blasted Mark Henry with an attitude adjustment in this no count out, no disqualification match to help Ryder score the win. The spray tan superstar now has a future United States title against Dolph Ziggler. Let's talk about this night, this Raw
right now.
Yeah. Obviously, you go into detail in the show. You know, we see it.
What a night! What a night, right? Because I'm all over the show.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about the pre-tape with John Laurinitis.
Right.
That I actually, I play in the show. This show's a little longer because I play all of this.
11 minutes.
Highlights
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So John Laurinitis was someone who scared the shit out of me. Very intimidating guy.
He's your boss.
He's my boss.
Yes.
I remember.
He finds people.
He finds people. I remember in Deep South Wrestling, he came down, and I think everyone's heard the stories of Bill DeMott and Deep South Wrestling. Listen, I love Bill DeMott. I just saw him last week at WrestleCade. I love Bill. We're not getting. If you want to hear developmental stories, listen to those bonus podcasts on the Patreon.
Yep.
But I don't want to say a lot. A few people were sending emails complaining about Bill to the office. This is in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
We had just got there. John Laurinitis comes down to Deep South. people are thinking like, okay, here we go. He's going to like get rid of Bill. Instead, he's calling everybody pussies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to use, don't quote me on that. But it basically, stop writing emails. Suck it up,
Wow.
Oh, this guy's a hard ass.
Right.
And then he's like, he asked like where the new guys are that he had signed, right? Actually, it's Kenny Omega. He puts over Kenny Omega. It was this guy, Chris Rombola, and then me and Brian. And he's like, I thought I hired 2 blonde guys. Go dye your hair. Which is kind of true when we, the pictures we had sent in for our tryout were like for us to tip spiky hair. But then we were like mid kind of like growing it out. So it was like more natural brownish.
Right.
It's like that night we had to go and dye our hair blonde.
Holy crap. You do it yourself?
We had Chrissy Vane do it. If you know who she is.
Okay.
So I was always intimidated by Johnny. And Johnny was my boss. And Johnny's a big guy, intimidating guy. And even while I was on, like, when I finally get called up to the main roster, he's very intimidating. He's my boss. What I love about Johnny, what I respect about Johnny, no bullshit, no nonsense. He would give you the answer straight up, whether you liked it or not. You know what I'm saying? You might not like his answer, but you got an answer. If you had a question, you had a problem, you had a complaint, you bring it up to Johnny, he'll handle it one way or another.
Right.
No dilly-dallying, no, like, pussyfooting around, So, very, very intimidated guy. I remember one time while we were in while we were in OVW, we were also on the main roster. And, again, this is in the developmental stories. I'm not going to tell the whole story. But there was a little incident with me, Brian, Robert Gibson, and Al Snow, who were the head trainers of OVW. And Johnny called us up. And I remember it was like a 3-way call, but Brian and I were separate, but we were together, so we had to separate. And I remember like Brian stayed in the car and I like walked off, and it was into like some field, right? He's like, tell me why I should fire you right now. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, we're gonna get fired over this. This is over like a wrist tape incident. You gotta hear about it. Little cheap plug for the Patreon. And I'm like, oh, because I really want to be in the business. Whatever I said.
Oh my God.
We didn't get fired.
Yeah.
But all right, long story short, when Johnny starts doing the angle on TV, and and I'm doing pre-tapes with him, and he's messing up his lines. We gotta do take 2, take 3. You realize he's just a human. He's just a guy.
Yeah. True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it I don't know. It almost humanized him to me.
But also, you're working in the same thing. You're doing the same pre-tape.
Right. And I became less intimidated, more comfortable with him, and started talking to him more, he was, but okay, then eventually he steps down, is no longer in charge.
Yep.
But he's still in WWE. He's still doing stuff behind the scenes. So now I'm talking to him, of course he's not my equal by any means, but more in like a friendly way as opposed to like, oh, scared of you boss way.
100%. Yeah, for sure.
So I love Johnny Ace. I have nothing but great things to say about Johnny Ace. I know he's back in some sort of power in WWE. Some people might not like that. I love Johnny.
Plus, you love wearing suits.
I love wearing suits. I love dress codes.
Yeah.
I say, Mark, if I was your boss, I'd fine you right now for wearing a hat. Like $500.
As you wear a hat.
Well, I'm the boss.
Yeah.
I love Johnny. Anyway, so it's a segment with Johnny. Then Cena comes in. He's wearing the wig. It's like, come on. It's like, bro. It's. I'm trying to make an analogy that's comparable, but it's like, this is tough. It's like if Hogan in like 91 comes into a backstage skit with,
Kidman?
I don't know.
Oh, 91.
Or like, who would have bin comparable to me in like 91? Like,
Coco Beware?
Hey, I would say I'm a little above Coco Beware. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Okay.
And he's like wearing all his gimmicks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
All right, let's say it's like this. Let's go to like 93-ish, and it's a 1, 2, 3 kid, and like Bret Hart's coming in, like, well, 123 Kid doesn't have merch, but Bret Hart is like wearing 123 Kid like T-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like an instant stamp of approval.
Right.
So, we have that segment. Then we have the match. So, I'm wrestling John Cena. It's big.
6 minutes and 30 seconds, which doesn't sound like much, but back then on this Raw, that's a pretty long time. When you're talking most matches are 2 minutes.
Yeah. Obviously, I lose. I'm actually 0-2 against Cena.
Right.
And then I wrestle Mark Henry, who, correct me if I'm wrong, was he the World Heavyweight Champion at the time?
Yes.
So I beat the World Heavyweight Champion. Cena helps. He raises my arm on the stage. Ultimate stamp of approval. I remember in that match, or maybe it was the Cena match, that I had just injured my knee at the time. I always have bad knees. But I was wrestling Drew McIntyre on a live event. And this is when Drew wasn't doing much. This is even before 3MB, I believe. And we would always try to kill it on these house shows.
Right.
And I remember
Which we've talked about many times recently.
Yeah.
You have been wrestling him on the house shows for sure.
He called that we'd be like fighting on the apron and that I'd give him essentially a rock bottom on the apron.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to take that? He's like, yeah, I want to take that. I'm like, okay. But when I took the bump, essentially like landed on my feet, like I'm jumping from the apron, slamming it down, landing on my feet, I tore my PCL in my knee.
Right.
So luckily you don't really need a PCL. I still don't have it. It doesn't grow back.
Right.
So I was like heavily taping my legs, my knee, And I remember like Arn Anderson pulling me aside, like saying something like, son, this isn't the time to get hurt. Like they're finally doing something with you,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And he was right. So I remember just my legs were like so tight from because the trainer, maybe that particularly it was just a little too tight. Then plus my knee pads and then the knee sleeves that were over. It was like I was losing circulation in my legs. I remember like pulling them down, like just like so my legs would breathe.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Anyway, beat Mark Henry, come number one contender, and then later in the night, I attacked Ziggler. And even at the time, I thought this is overkill. This is too much.
3, 4, 5 segments or whatever it is.
Much.
Yeah.
It's too much because, man, listen, I know that the people want to see me, but we don't want to shove me down their throat.
Right.
And luckily that, it wasn't like that. It was just this particular episode. So I'm certainly not going to turn down all the TV time. 11 months earlier, I can't even get on the goddamn show.
Right.
Now I'm having 2 matches, backstage segment, and a run-in.
Absolutely.
That's like Austin stuff. Who else would do that? Have 2 matches, a backstage thing, and a run-in. Fucking Austin. You know what I'm saying? This is big shit.
Yes.
But even at the time, I was like, it's a bit much. Even when I was editing the show, I remember, I got to show all this. Like the whole point of the show is to get on TV, I got to show it. But like, oh my God, it's so long. But it's so important.
Yeah. So the one thing is there's a really good backstage segment where Cena's asking Laurinitis to give you another shot. And it's really insane because
there's definitely realism in that promo.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm 100%. Watching this being blown away.
Because Cena was going to bat for me behind the scenes in real life too.
He's saying give him an opportunity, which is like this is the fake storyline, but also, man, that's literally what he's
and that's
saying.
Why I think it connected with the audience, not just necessarily the ones who are watching the YouTube show, but the mass audience. Because whether you bought into the fact that this kid needs an opportunity on the show, cool. But if you were like really in, then you knew he like really like behind the scenes needed an opportunity. So it worked on so many different levels,
Right, absolutely.
And that's why it worked so well.
All right, and then over on Smackdown, real quick, December 9th, like I said, Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Arena. It was taped December 6th, Sci-Fi. This is a funny little thing. After Santa granted Hornswoggle the ability to talk on a live Smackdown 10 days ago,
God.
the pint-sized superstar served as the guest ring announcer in the match between David Otunga and Sheamus, and in the confrontation set by GM Teddy Long earlier tonight, the Great White triumphed with a devastating bro kick. So,
well, speaking of Swoggle the Elf, this is the last day. This is the Holiday Toy Drive Major Pod number 4. Still time to donate if you are listening and you live in the Long Island area. Come to Creative Pro tonight. You could, I don't care where you are in the world. You could be in China. Go to ringsidecollectibles.com. Donate something today. This is the last day. We would greatly appreciate it, greatly support it. Obviously, as for an incredible cause. Toys for Tots. Let's make a lot of kids' holiday season just a little bit better. We would really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And then, like I said, you beat Heath. Okay.
Beat Heath.
Let's jump into the episode 43. Now, this is a huge episode. Now, we had kind of already talked about the footage. That's a big part of it. But you start with Mr. Belding. You even do a timeout in this thing just from like Saved by the Bell. Talk about how this happened. So obviously you have a sort of a longer relationship with Mr. Belding after this. This is the first time we've seen it. What happened here?
So Mr. Belding, Dennis Haskins. Obviously, I'm a huge Saved by the Bell fan. That's where I got the name Zach.
Right.
Was friendly with The Miz. And The Miz knew that I was a huge fan and kind of put us in contact. And if my memory serves me correctly, he sent me this video before we ever met. And then after this, I would see him a bunch of times at a Miz party, or there was I don't know if you recall, there was a Saved by the Bell off-Broadway show in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And he got me tickets, and he was there.
Wow.
Dennis is a great, great guy, and it was so cool for me to have him on the show, and I think it just added credibility, as ridiculous as it sounds.
Right. Oh, hell yeah, it does. Yeah. He's talking about you. He's talking about the show, all that stuff. You do the timeout, which popped me. All right, then the real show starts. You start backwards because you got a backpack on and a backwards hat.
Drawstring backpack.
Yep.
Backwards hat, the V-neck shirt. It's like I'm covered in new merch, covered in old merch.
Chain glasses.
It's merch city, baby. This was a crazy time for the merch. We're gonna do an episode after episode 50 on just merch.
We'll have to have like Iman on or whatever. Sign of the week. We want Ryder for U.S. champ. Nice one.
Love it.
Belding's back. He asks who the broski of the week is, and then he says he needs you to come into his office, but he's just
Zach
kidding.
Ryder, my office now.
Really
So
good.
great.
Does his little giggle, so that was great. You say the broski of the week is John Cena, and you explain why. So then,
Pretty obvious after what we've discussed.
we talked about it. Goes through the whole thing, and then at the end of showing all this footage, whatever, you are now the number one contender to the U.S. title.
Like, if you're listening to the show or if you were watching a decade ago, because it seems kind of a natural progression, but if you even now take myself out of the situation, look back, like what I really accomplished is mind-boggling. I just thought, hey, my last ditch attempt. Let me try this YouTube show to try to get some attention, try to get some buzz, try to get noticed. And in 11 months, it worked.
Right.
It worked. Like, now I'm on all over Monday Night Raw. I'm going to be on pay-per-view for a championship. All because of the fans who watch the show and support me. So I'll never, forget those fans. And a lot of them are still with me today and have made 2021, in my opinion, better than 2011 in a lot of ways.
Now, this is a weird question, but you get this match against Ziggler, which is so perfect because you're literally building this story separately on your channel. Now, I do believe that you would have gotten this opportunity. Like, they couldn't have ignored it. You would have gotten some sort of opportunity at this point without making the Ziggler storyline. However, it is interesting that it's Ziggler. Do you think that it would have maybe been an opportunity with somebody else or some other opportunity, or do you think you drove that Ziggler storyline?
I talked about this a couple weeks ago with you. I just think it's kind of a coincidence.
Right. Okay.
That we did the Ziggler storyline and continued it.
Right.
I don't think anybody who had any stock in what was said or done was like, oh, they did this on his show.
Right.
But
it was perfect.
It was a perfect storm, and I thought this was the episode where I make the tribute, not tribute, but
trailer
hype-up video, the
Yeah.
trailer, but I guess that's next week or in 2 weeks.
Cool. Are you serious, bro? Tweet of the week: when Zack Ryder pinned Mark Henry for the shot at the U.S. title, I bet it was Dolph Ziggler saying, "Are you serious, bro?" At TLC, you do a little promo. You say you're going to fist pump his face.
That's right.
Ziggler comes in with a little promo.
Little promo ski.
Great promo.
It was always like so
close.
like annoying to get this. Well, like Ziggs, I need this video. You know?
And then he would just pick up his phone and do it.
Yeah.
But it's great.
It was great.
Yeah. And he wasn't known for a talker back then.
Well, it's actually, I always joke with him. I say I gave him his big break because there is one time where someone take a shot. Somebody must have watched something on the show. It's like, why can't we have Ziggler talk like how he does on one of Zach's shows? Like, let's have him on the beach with girls, just like on Zach's show. Because they just happened to watch a promo where he was in his backyard with like a palm tree. It was on the beach. There's no girls.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But Ziggler's great.
That's what the character always was, really.
Yeah.
All right, now here we go.
Oh, what? An all-timer.
I am big on Christmas stuff. So this kind of just put me in a good mood today when I was watching.
Bro,
it.
I was watching this on the treadmill today. As soon as Stanford popped up with that fucking jingle, I was like, holy shit. And I was popping the whole time. Like,
whose idea was this?
Popping the whole time. I think a little combination of both.
Okay.
There was like a little combination of like, he wanted to do like, like the Radio City Music Hall kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wanted to do,
Regular
like a Are You Serious Bro satellite radio.
Yep.
Sing along, and then we kind of combined.
So basically it's like a Christmas album for all the podcast people. You're singing, and now everybody's singing Christmas, like known Christmas songs, but to different lyrics.
Right.
You got to check it out because it needs to be seen to be believed. But you're there. Big O is singing in the gym, by the way. People are working out. You can hear clanking. Stanford does one. Chi does one. The Chi one, man. I'm just like, holy shit. Love Chi, but holy moly. You're back. Dad. And then
Frosty the Bro Man was there.
Right? Yoshitatsu with the Christmas story joke, which I had to pause the show.
Did I?
Yeah, I was dying. We don't even need to mention what that is, but it's from the Christmas story, guys.
What about that high kick at the end?
Unbelievable. I was like, is he trying to get his heat back here? I'm not really sure.
It was great.
Ends with Stanford and then you, hell of a seg. It's
a great feel-good moment.
Hard to explain it, but you guys are singing Christmas songs.
It's supposed to be like a trailer for a very Broski Christmas. I think it's coming to Radio City. All the Broskets are going to be there. Some of the Rockettes. Classic Stanford.
It's great.
Vintage Stanford, as Michael Cole would say.
Normal closeout, but you say watch me all month on Classics on Demand. And then the end is a picture of you guys. Chi... I forget who it is. Chi,
Big O, and Stanford went to like an ugly Christmas sweater party in New York City without me.
Oh yeah, so they were that picture's there at the end.
And we also changed the music to the Saved by the Bell exit outro music.
Right. Yeah. So hell of an episode. I mean,
fun little episode. It's a long sumbitch.
This is like a keystone or a cornerstone episode. I feel like
crucial.
Yeah, like in the whole thing, it's very important because this one is basically showing the friggin' success.
Right.
All right. Let's close out, but before we do that, a little word from our sponsors. Are you serious, bro? Tweet of the week.
Are you serious, bro?
Oh, guys, all you got to do is tweet me something. Use the hashtag Are You Serious, Bro. Pop me. If I read it on air, I'll send you an 8x10. This one comes from Something Devious. Thanks, Broski, at the Matt Cardona. I just accidentally told a customer to take a shot when I got tongue-tied. Not really something you say to call center clientele. Hashtag Are You Serious, Bro? Well, take a shot at your major PBR, baby.
Take a shot. That started like in the third episode of the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast.
Oh yeah.
All right, know your bro. Use hashtag know your bro about this week's episode, and I'll find a nice question, and I'll read it, and Broski will answer it, and he'll also send you an 8x10.
8x10 city, baby.
You also have to follow Broski, at least.
Yes.
At Mean Streak Matt C. says, did you intend to have Dennis Haskins become a recurring character on the show? How did that come about? You explained it. And did you try and get anyone else from Saved by the Bell cast to make an appearance on the show?
So,
Did you intend to make him a recurring character at first?
It wasn't like my idea to have him come back, but why not have him if he'd be willing to come back?
Hell yeah.
I still to this day have not met Mark Paul Gosselaar, Zach Morris. I do have in my office.
Yeah.
2-1 Zach from another. All the best. Mark Paul Gosselaar, Zach Morris. David C. Anderson, FW Commissioner got me this. It's in my office.
That's great.
Unfortunately, I did not have the best interaction with Mario Lopez.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. So.
Is there a story?
Yeah. So. It's kind of heartbreaking, actually.
He's backstage a lot. I used
all
to
the
see
time.
him, when I was doing extra work in New York, he would always be there.
So Dennis Haskins, this was, I don't know, 3 years ago-ish, 4 years ago-ish. Maybe I would say 3-ish. Before we had won the tag team titles. So a couple months before that. At LA, at whatever it is, Raw, Smackdown, SummerSlam, whatever the it was, there's always so many people backstage, so many celebrities backstage, blah, 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 blah. Mario Lopez was there. And I wanted to go meet him and take a picture. And Dennis, Mr. Belding, knew that. Basically offered to make the introduction.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, absolutely. I mean, Dennis is going to set it. It's way better, right? That particular day, I was not booked to wrestle. So I'm in, like, my suit. Johnny would be very proud.
Yes.
You know? And Dennis introduced us, and, like, AC Slater, Mario Lopez, like, could not give a f***. Was nice.
Right.
Was nice. But like, I think he thought I was like a market rep or an office person, not a wrestler.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like in a fucking suit.
Is he a wrestling fan or is his family a wrestling fan? Like,
I think both. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like heartbreaking that like he wasn't rude,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but he wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I get it.
And I do think maybe if I was like in gear, it would have been a totally different situation.
Right.
Because I think he's a casual wrestling fan. He probably knows like Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Doesn't know Zack Ryder necessarily.
I can see that.
Fast forward. Is it MetLife Stadium? Is that where we won the tag team titles?
Yes.
We win the tag team titles. And then we have to do, I don't know if they still do it, like a watch along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And like Mario Lopez is doing the watch along with us.
I remember this.
And the whole time, like, I'm thinking, I don't even want a picture with this guy. You know, because like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like almost like, not that he did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? He was nice when we met. But in my mind, it was almost like, I'm trying to think how to compare it. It's like if a girl like didn't want you, but then you got like in shape and like felt really popular, and she like came crawling back. You're like, no thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's not like he was even asking for a picture with me this time by any means, but like,
You're a little salty. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
in retrospect, I regret not taking the picture. I
Yeah.
should have asked. I should have asked both times.
Oh, you didn't ever get the picture.
Never got a picture.
Oh man. Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, because the first time he was so not. I don't want to turn this into some clickbait thing. It's not that he wasn't cool. He just wasn't cool.
Right.
So there was no like opportunity to be like,
Hey,
can we grab a picture?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there was no like conversation. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. That was it. So I don't know. That's on me, I guess. But that's my Mario Lopez story. I listen, AC Slater. I was always a Zach guy. I have nothing against AC Slater, Mario Lopez. If I see him again, Mario, if you're listening, we need to take that photo, baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
And did you see AC Slater calling out Heath Slater on the new Saved by the Bell?
Oh my God. I know. That is so crazy.
Awesome. Yeah.
A very unreal thing. All right. Characters debuted in this episode, Mr. Belding, Dennis Askins back, Ziggler, Dad, Stanford, Chi, Yoshitatsu, all the big hitters.
Big O's back.
Big O. This episode, 11 minutes and 34 seconds, 246,103 views. Great episode.
Views.
So yeah, there we go. ProWrestlingTees.com/MajorWFPod. That's where you find our shirts. Thanks for all the support recently. ProWrestlingTees.com/Matt Cardona or Smart Mark Sterling.
You call me Mark Matt Cardona?
Mark Matt Cardona. Or
Fuck you.
Or shop AEW for my 2 AEW shirts. Oh, that's I meant to say. My shirt sold so well, they were like, "Oh, we got to put up another one," which
go,
I don't know if that was a great idea. Today, I'm wearing the Deathmatch King shirt that you so kindly gave to me when we were in New York.
And that is was, because it sold out, that was a live event exclusive in the black. It's still available on Pro Wrestling Tees in the blue.
Oh,
the
cool.
black version is sold out. Just have the 2 MCWA shirts are up. Also, our good friend Johnny Clash of the Game Marks podcast helped me design another one of the 3 things that I love, which is Buzz, Money, and Gold. That shirt's available at ProWrestlingTees.com/Matt Cardona. Remember, major... Well, no, I can't even say go buy the bendies because unless you're a Patreon member, you can't get them.
Right.
You can't get them yet. So, and next week, guys, tickets for Live 11, Orlando, Florida, will go on sale next Friday. We'll talk about that next week.
Oh, nice. Cool. All right.
And thank you to everyone who ordered the FWF too. Really appreciate it, guys.
Yes. We talked about it a bit last week, but some MC True Long storylines going on in there. We'll have Big O on soon. All right, close us out.
Man, I really hope we get this Facebook situation figured out, but I doubt it. Also, guys, if you're in the Chicago area, C2E2, I will be there this week, Friday and Saturday, and then coming to Creative Pro, hopefully with some more gold. The Creative Pro Heavyweight Championships. I'll see you there, Mark.
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah, I'm wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm actually wrestling Max Caster.
Oh, hell yeah. So like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Go back and watch all these other episodes on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Go back and listen to all these other episodes. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Take a nice little sipski of your major PBR. And take care. Spike your hair.
Just